Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to solve three LeetCode question, and in which one is easy and two are medium questions. The count and say the 38 LeetCode question is very popular and asked in many interviews. In these three questions, do you see a pattern? Like the pattern is we have to count the consecutive repeating character in each question. Like here, assume like BB, so we have to count 2B, 3C, and in count and say we have to do the same things like 1 1, then it become 2 1, and in string compression we have to do the same things like 2A, so we have to write it A2 and B2, so B2, and 3 times C becomes C3. I want you to first pause the video and read the three questions so you can understand that better, and we will start with this easy question, and I want you to solve this question on your own, and I will going to explain and solve this question in this video, but I want you to try first, because if you solve on your own, then this question becomes short, like you don't have to revise it or multiple times. So let's start with this easy question. What we have to do here, like let me write a test case. So this is the test case A, B, B, C, C, C. Let's take this. So what we are going to do, we run a loop on each character, and in this loop what we will do, we take a current character for I, let us assume that, and we match with its consecutive, its next character, and if it is a match, then we take a variable count and increase by 1. How it work? Like there is a loop and in which we run I, and again another loop in which we check I and I plus 1 position, and if it is same, then we will increase our count by 1 and also increase the position of I also. So I plus, we initialize count with 1. Why 1? Because our first character we counting it in count, like it has some number. Then for example, like if our I is currently at here and we text in loop like I and I plus plus 1 match, then we move I and count increase by 1, so count become 2, and I move at this B, this position I. Then next, when next iteration come, then I check with C, then I and C are not a match, then what happen? It exit from loop, and I position is currently on B, so what happen? We check, and we can store I, find out max, or do whatever we want with it. Like we know that like at position, like current position, our current position of I is our character and the count is 2. We know that at end of the loop, and in next iteration, like for I for outer loop, we have to increase the I, so at the end we do I plus plus. So our main logic will come here. So if I do draw the pattern, it is like outer loop, then there is inner loop. The logic will going to same for every questions, and we initialize our some value here, like count will be going to there, and do some calculation here, like for with our result that we have calculated in here, and I plus plus that for next iteration. So that will going to be our pattern. So let me show you with the code, you will understand better. As you already read the question, like we have to find the maximum consecutive character. So what we are going to do, we will I is equal to 0 and int n is equal to s dot length. We run a loop I less than n, then we run a again loop and we check the s of I position is equal to s of I plus 1. Then we will increase our count and increase the I also. So let initialize the count also. So int count is equal to 1. Why 1? I have already explained, like we are not checking the one position, like we are directly moving to the second position. If it is not matched, like L and E is not matched, then L is going to be 1. Here we know that like the position of I means s of I is equal to L and our count is 1. We can do our operation here. Like why I am telling this is because we are going to use this value in our next question. What we will do, we will take answer, like we have to find the max value. So answer is equal to count, and let initialize our answer. And what we have to do at the end, like our current I is at L, or like in any position we are checking S plus D and E, then it is not matched, then our position is at D. So what we have to do, we have to move it to next position I plus, and at the end we will return our answer. Now do you see any problem here? Like in this loop there is, like we are checking I plus 1. What happen if we reach at the end, like we are checking outside and it will give the error. So what we have to do, we have to do a last check. I plus 1 should be less than, n, and let's run this. Okay, so it is accepted. Let me submit this. So it is submitted. Now I have to like do a little bit modification so that it can easily readable. So first let me remove this. And now do you see like what we have do? We have initialized I and then running a loop up to I less than n and doing I plus plus. So we can replace this with for loop int I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Why I am doing this? To make code more readable or easy to understand. I have nothing changed, just change the loop. And now we are going to use this same code as a base and solve other two questions. Let me submit this. Like nothing is changed. Like if I submit it will going to, what we will do, we will like just similar copy and paste, nothing else. I want you to first try on your own. Like this question is same, like nothing changed, just a small tweak and you will going to solve this. I hope you tried. Let's do that. In this question, what have to say, like we have given a number like n is equal to 4 and we have to check the sequence, like the starting sequence will be 1, then we will count like 1 is equal to 1 count is 1, so it become 1 1. Here is 2 1, so that's why 2 comes first. 2 is the number, count number, and 1 is the our value. I hope you remember when I told you that at the end of the loop we get the value. Like here I told you that we can access the value of s of I current position. This is the current value and the count will have the count of current value. What we are going to do here, just tweak this solution that we have solved previously and do this. So what is the starting point? Like our starting string is s is equal to 1. Then I want you to first of all forget about everything. Like see this question, assume you are given a string like 1 2 1 1 and you have to say like count and say. So what we have to do, we have to first count this number and store in our string. So let me remove this first also, we don't need this, and this also, this. So I am saying that forget about everything I told you and now think as this is the number given and you have to count and store the next like fifth one. Let assume our string new s is equal to empty, and what we are going to do, as I told you, like we have to count like here what is happen 1 1, then 2 and 1, means 2 is the count and 1 is the current value. And what happen if a single digit came, like 2 came one time, so that's why here 1 count 2, means count is going to come new s will be first is the count, we will convert to string count value and then our current value. So current value is at s of I. I hope you get it what I have done here. Like nothing, our new string will have the next of count. Like if we ask for this count and say our new string will have this, so what we have to do, we have to start from 1 and we have to count until we reach up to the given number. So let me change again it 1 and we will going to run a loop which will run up to n. This is nothing, just running a loop until n time, and in each time what we have to do, we have to check for the s and we are calculating the s, like we have to update the n also. So int n is equal to s dot length, and what we are doing, we are counting. Okay, this is the same as previous. At the end of the loop, this loop, like this is the loop run on this string. So after this string we get a new string, like new iteration, so we will update our s is equal to new s. After that we have to return like fourth one, so we are going to return our s. So I hope you understand like what I have done. Let me submit this. Okay, wrong answer I get. Okay, what I have done wrong here, like we are already taken 1. If n is value is come and n is equal to 1, then it run a loop again. So we have to decrease n by 1 because when n is equal to 1 we already calculated it. Let me submit this solution. I hope you get it what I have done, like this question. And now this string compression came. This question is like, this is also depend on it, like in this question the difference is we don't have to do anything when the count is 1, and the other task is we have to return the integer. Integer is like we have to change the characters array that is given us and replace all the value on it, like a2, so a come here and 2 came next position, like all the 6 position will be filled on the first 6 characters. So what we are going to do, let me copy and show you. So this is our core logic, and here n is equal to s dot length. So let's change this character to s. Now if I ask you, like forget about manipulating this, given given array, and I will say, can you return me this, like this string? So can you do that? You've done this to question, then it is very simple. What we have to do, we don't have to like type any count when the count is 1, and we have to only write the character. So what we are going to do, like string answer is equal to empty, and we are running a loop on s, and we are counting, and let me remove this, and here we are getting the character and the count. So do you see the pattern? Like we get the character and the count. What we have to do, we have to answer plus is equal to, first is character, so s of I, and then there is a count, answer plus is equal to string and count. But here is the twist, like we have to add the count only when count is greater than 1. And now if I show you, like if I return 0 here and show you the output, okay, here should be s dot size, I mistake it. So do you see the output? Like we get the same output as they require. Now the only thing is left for us. Now do you see the pattern? Like now what we have to do, we have to just overwrite on our s array. There is two approach. First is we can do same inside here, and second is the simple and easiest way is to run another loop on s, like for int I is equal to 0, I less than answer dot length and I plus plus. Then we are going to do s of I is equal to answer of I, and at the end what we will do, we will return answer dot length. Do you get what I have done? Just I put all the value in each position, like 2 come in second place, B came at third index, nothing else. And let me submit this, like test case is passed. Let me submit this solution. So it is submitted. Now what we can do here, like if you want, like this is an extra step, nothing need to do, but put it here also. Like how can we achieve that? We just create another variable called j is equal to 0, and what we have to do, instead of storing in answer, we can directly change at s of j plus plus is equal to s of I. Now what happened at 0 position, this will be saved, and j position will be increased. And when we get inside our if condition, then what we have to do, we have to like put all the value of count inside our s of j. So what we can do, we can run a loop. Like if I put this loop and change it, like the loop will run on a count. So let me remove the answer first, so you not get confused like what I am doing. What we do, we create a string of count s is equal to string. We have converted the count into a string, and we are running a loop on it and changing our s of j position with count of s of, okay, I will be create a problem, so change it to a, my mistake, here will become a, and this done. Let me remove this and this also. Our answer will be the j position, so we will return j from here, and that's it. Let me run this. Compilation error, like I have like forget about some curly braces, maybe just get here. Okay, I deleted what I did wrong. Okay, I done a really silly mistake like here. Now let's submit this. So this was the solution. I hope you understand.